Some blessings require a wrestle, not because God is hiding them from you, but because some versions of you have to die before you can carry them. Kofi had become very good at saying soon. Soon was his favorite word. He was going to start the business soon, apply for the program soon, write the proposal soon, move cities soon, deal with his father's rejection soon, heal from the breakup soon, figure out what he actually wanted from life soon. Soon, soon, soon. The problem with soon is that it feels productive. It sounds responsible. It sounds like a plan. But sometimes soon is just fear wearing a nicer outfit. And for 4 years, Kofi had been dressing fear up as preparation. He wasn't lazy. That's what made it dangerous. Lazy people know they're avoiding things. Kofi looked busy. He listened to podcasts, read books, took notes, made spreadsheets, watched motivational videos, started planning documents, created vision boards. He had prepared so much that preparation had become its own hiding place. And if we're being honest, some of us know exactly what that feels like. We say we're waiting for clarity, waiting for confirmation, waiting for the right timing. But sometimes we're waiting because moving forward would require becoming someone we've never been before. And that's terrifying. One Thursday night, Kofi found himself sitting alone in his apartment. The television was on. He wasn't watching it. His phone was in his hand. He wasn't using it. Have you ever had one of those strange moments where life goes quiet enough that you can finally hear yourself? Not the version of yourself you present to other people. The real one. The one underneath the distractions. The one asking questions you'd rather not answer. That night, Kofi couldn't escape a thought. What if I'm not stuck? What if I'm hiding? That question followed him to bed. And somehow that question reminds me of Jacob. Because when we meet Jacob in Genesis 32, he's also running out of places to hide. Most people know Jacob as the guy who wrestled with God. But before he became a wrestler, he was a runner. A very successful runner. He spent years outrunning consequences, outrunning conflict, outrunning accountability, outrunning difficult conversations, outrunning the version of himself he didn't want to face. And honestly, who can't relate to that? Because running doesn't always look like running. Sometimes it looks like busyness. Sometimes it looks like work. Sometimes it looks like achievement. Sometimes it looks like pretending everything is fine. Jacob had built an entire life while avoiding one major problem. His brother Esau, the brother he had betrayed, the brother he had deceived, the brother who once wanted him dead. And now, after years apart, they were about to meet again. Imagine the anxiety. Imagine the dread. Imagine lying awake wondering if tomorrow might be the day your past finally catches up with you. That's where Jacob is. He's terrified. So he does what anxious people do. He starts preparing, sending gifts, making plans, thinking through every possible outcome, trying to control what he cannot control. And honestly, I understand him, because sometimes preparation is wisdom, and sometimes preparation is panic pretending to be wisdom. Eventually, night falls. His family crosses the river. The servants leave. The noise disappears. And for the first time in a long time, Jacob is alone. Really alone. No distractions, no negotiations, no strategies, just himself. And that's when the stranger appears. Scripture simply says a man wrestled with him until daybreak. No dramatic introduction, no explanation, just a fight, an all-night fight. And here's what fascinates me. The fight happens before the reunion, before Esau, before the thing Jacob fears. Because the biggest battle in Jacob's life was never actually Esau. The biggest battle was Jacob. The same thing was becoming true for Kofi. A few weeks after that Thursday night, he finally admitted something to a friend. Not a polished version, not an inspirational version, the ugly version. I don't think I'm afraid of failing. His friend nodded. So what are you afraid of? Kofi looked down, then laughed. The uncomfortable kind of laugh, the one that shows up when truth catches you off guard. I think I'm afraid it might actually work. Silence. Because sometimes success is scarier than failure. Failure lets you stay the same. Success demands change. Success demands responsibility. Success removes excuses. Success forces growth. And growth always costs something. Back at the river, Jacob and the stranger are still wrestling, hour after hour. Dust, sweat, exhaustion, no spectators, no applause, no audience. Just struggle. The kind of struggle nobody posts online. The kind nobody turns into a motivational quote. The kind that happens in the dark. The kind where nobody knows how hard you're fighting except you and God. Then something strange happens. The man asks Jacob a question. What is your name? At first, that sounds ridiculous. Of course he knows Jacob's name, but this isn't a request for information. It's an invitation to honesty, because names meant something. A name wasn't just what people called you. It was identity, story, reputation, history. And Jacob means deceiver, grabber, manipulator, the one always reaching, the one always striving, the one always trying to secure through effort what he could not trust God to provide. So imagine the moment, after a lifetime of pretending, after years of running, after an entire night of wrestling, Jacob has to say it out loud. Jacob, no excuses, no explanations, no spin, just truth. And maybe that's the hardest part of transformation, not changing. Naming what's broken, naming what's hurting, naming what's driving you, naming what's controlling you. Because healing begins where honesty begins. Then comes one of the most beautiful lines in scripture. Your name will no longer be Jacob. Not because Jacob earned it, not because he became perfect, not because he finally got everything right, but because he stayed, he wrestled, he stopped running, he faced himself, and on the other side of that encounter came a new identity. Israel, the one who wrestles with God and prevails. Notice what God doesn't rename him. Not the flawless one, not the victorious one, not the perfect one, the wrestler. Because sometimes faith isn't winning. Sometimes faith is refusing to let go. Kofi eventually launched the thing he'd been postponing, and it wasn't magical. Nobody clapped. Nobody discovered him overnight. There was no movie montage, just hard work, rejection, setbacks, self-doubt, growth. But something changed, not outside, inside. For the first time in years, he stopped hiding behind potential. He started living. And that's when I noticed something interesting about Jacob's story. The blessing wasn't the new name. The blessing wasn't even surviving the night. The blessing was becoming someone who no longer needed to run. Because Jacob walks away with a limp, a permanent reminder of the encounter. And for years, I thought the limp was the cost. Now, I think it was the gift. Every step reminded him, you don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to manipulate anymore. You don't have to run anymore. You met God here, you survived the night, you became someone new. And maybe that's where this episode meets us. Maybe you're not wrestling with an angel. Maybe you're wrestling with fear, grief, forgiveness, purpose, shame, a dream you've delayed so long you've almost convinced yourself you don't want it anymore. Whatever it is, the temptation will be the same. Let go, walk away, go back to what is familiar, go back to hiding. But some things only happen when you stay in the struggle long enough for the truth to emerge. Because on the other side of some wrestles is a blessing. On the other side of some wrestles is freedom. On the other side of some wrestles is a new name, not a different person, a truer one. And when the sun finally rises, you may not leave unchanged. You may leave with a limp, a scar, a story, a reminder. But you'll also leave knowing something you didn't know before. You stayed, you faced it, and you didn't run. Sometimes that's what overcoming looks like. If something in this story stayed with you and if it's still sitting somewhere in your chest, that's not an accident. That's the thing we don't scroll past. Hit like, not as a reflex, but as a marker, because somewhere out there, a witness is still looking for proof that their story isn't over. And this might be how they find it. Pass it to that friend, the one whose testimony is still being written, the one who hasn't heard the scripture told this way before. And subscribe to Bible Rebooted. We don't come here to perform. We come here to tell the truth and to hand you the evidence that you were never as far gone as it felt. Every story is evidence. It's your boy Kairos Ade signing out. Like, subscribe, and stream the music.
You are not forgotten. Tried to believe in you one last time. Another rejection, another betrayal. The friends I thought was solid turned to vapor into dust. Love I tried to build collapsed from termites of distrust. God, what's the point of waking to a new heartbreak design? God, where's the famous light at the end? It feels like that's a lie. Where are you, God? In this quiet, in the stake, I'm just a ghost who's begging for a single solid break.